Hi everyone, welcome to another video, and in this video I'm going to give you 5 simple steps to get you ready for fat loss. So 5 things that you need to do to get right and get ready, get in the right mindset, get some things in order to give you the best possible chance to achieve your goal of losing body fat. Okay, so let's get straight into it with step number 1. So step number 1 is to start with an end goal in mind. And your end goal can be anywhere from 12 months, 24 months, 3 years, 4 years, even 5 to 10 years down the line. So the best thing to do is look ahead at what you want to achieve. So where do you ultimately want to be? And then sort of reverse engineer that position back down to where we are on the current day. And there's a few ways to do that. Now, the first thing we need to do is to make some smaller, more achievable goals at the start to allow you to build that confidence and start to see some results on the way up until your ultimate goal that you're trying to achieve. So let's take an example of something like to lose 2 stone in body weight. Okay, if we're looking at doing that maybe over a 12-month period, we want to break that down now into more achievable goals. So we might first look at, we've got that ultimate goal of 2 stone that starts at 12 months. I'm going to talk a little bit more about how to set that up. But before we get into that, so from 12 months we may drop down to around 9 months. So we want to be at a certain amount at 9 months. We then want to be a certain amount at 6 months into that goal, and so on. So we're coming down to maybe 3 months, and we break it down even simpler into like 4 week, 6 week, 12 week goals. In each of them goals, we're gonna try and follow something called the SMART principle. Now, you've probably seen this. This isn't just fitness related. This is across any sort of goal setting, and there's plenty of studies to show that it's a really good way of setting goals and achieving them. So just to break it down a little bit more, the 5 letters all stand for. So first of all, we've got S, which is specific. So we need to make sure that we've got a specific goal in mind. So fat loss isn't enough. So we need something, whether it be an actual number on there, a number amount of weight to lose, or a percentage of body fat to lose if you've got the ability to measure body fat. It might even be, it doesn't have to be weight related, so it might be if your goal is to squat a certain amount, so it could be an actual figure. So whereas a goal from improve my squat would then become lift 100 kilograms for 1 rep on a squat. So that's a more specific goal. So fat loss becomes lose 2 pounds in the first 3 weeks of dieting. So that's a little more specific than just fat loss. Then we've got the M. So the M stands for measurable. Now, it needs to be something that we can measure. So again, using the example of fat loss, just fat loss is too broad of a term. We can't measure if it's happened unless we've got an actual figure to measure against. So if we know that we start at 19 stone and your aim is to drop your body weight, we've got a figure there to measure against then. So it's something that we can measure. So if your goal is to lose a stone, we know that we can easily measure that using weighing scales. Okay, your next one is A, so that's achievable. So we need to make sure that this goal is something that is definitely achievable, something that is within reach, but also it requires you to step out of your comfort zone a little, and it requires you to stretch yourself. So we don't want to pick something that you can achieve in a day. There's no point. And similarly, we don't want to pick something that is way out of reach. So for example, if you want to start running, you've not ran for over a year, maybe the goal of running a marathon in the next 6 weeks is probably not going to be achievable. So pick something that is achievable, but something that still challenges you. And then your next one is relevant. You might see this as realistic or relevant. I like to use the relevant. And with relevant, we want to make sure that the things we are doing is relevant to that end goal. So we spoke about before the end goal in mind, the ultimate goal that you want to achieve. So we need to make sure that everything we do is sort of building up to that level to achieve that relevant goal. So if it's something like fat loss, you're not going to spend the majority of your time doing things that are working on mobility and flexibility. You're probably going to looking at things that, one, you're going to start reducing your calories a little, and you're going to try and do a little bit more resistance training, a little bit more cardiovascular training. You might include some classes in there depending on what you're interested in, but you want to do things that are relevant to you. So if you want to get better at running, you're not going to do the majority of your training in the swimming pool. So just make sure everything is relevant and geared up to that end goal in mind that you're looking to achieve. And then the final one, nice and easy, is time bound or time frame. So there needs to be an actual time to end that goal. So we need to make sure that we pick a time. So for example, if it's that first 4 weeks, the T of your SMART goal will be 4 weeks. And you might also put in the T section that you're going to review that goal in 2 weeks' time. So as you can see down the left hand side, we've got all the letters there. So we've got the SMART. Specific, we've got lose 2 pounds of body weight. So that's a bit more specific than just lose body weight. We've actually got a figure on there which takes us to the next step, which is measurable. So we know that we can measure 2 pounds of body weight by using weighing scales, and I've just added a little bit extra in there. I've put using weighing scales to record body weight, weigh each Monday morning at 6 a.m. So we've gone even a bit more specific. So we've put a set time that we want to weigh ourselves, and that just allows you to be consistent in the day and the time that you measure your body weight, because it will fluctuate based on hydration and when you go to the toilet, etc. So it is a good idea to try and keep it as consistent as you can at a similar time and day. Then we've got achievable. So in this one I've just put the goal is achievable as long as you stay consistent and motivated on the plan, and that'll take us up to the relevant things we're going to do in order to make it achievable. So we're going to attend the gym 3 times a week. You're going to track your calorie intake to ensure that you're in a calorie deficit. Now, if you end up working with me on a goal, obviously you'll have your calories worked out for you if we're going down that tracking route. But just as a broad overview here in goal setting, if you attend the gym 3 times a week to a decent intensity, you're tracking your calories. In the time we've put a 4-week schedule to lose them 2 pounds of body weight, that is more than achievable. And moving on to the time section, I've also put I'll review my progress after week 2. So we've got a 4-week plan to try and lose 2 pounds of body weight. We've got a little bit in the relevant area of what we're going to do to achieve that. And we've also said we're going to review it after 2 weeks. That'll allow us to see if we're on track to achieve it, or if we need to make some relevant changes in order to get back on track. So that is roughly how a goal would look. Now, what we might include in here is something like short term, and then you might move on to do a medium term goal here, where we then increase, and I'll give you a little bit of a rundown of how I work it out. So I would normally do this section first. So I do the time frame. So if we're going to go on to do the medium term one now, we might do the time frame as 12 weeks. Then we'd put what specific thing we want to do and sort of fill the others in between. That's how I work to set the SMART goals out. Okay, point 2. That was a long point 1, so this one's going to be a little bit quicker. Point 2 is have a starting point. So take measurements of where you currently are, whether it be your body weight, whether it be physical measurements as in inches around your hips, waist, arm, chest, thigh being the main areas, whether it be a body fat percentage if you can do that. Just be careful on body fat percentage. I mentioned earlier, if you haven't got a DEXA scanner, it's probably not the most accurate method. And the best one of all that I like to use is progress pictures. It's so easy to do. Take a front shot, take a side shot, and take a back shot. Obviously you have to get somebody to do this for you, but it's so easy to compare pictures from week 1 to week 6. You're going to see a difference. So really easy to check progress, but we need that starting point. If we don't have that starting point, then we have nothing to measure against. So make sure you get that done, and that is your point 2. Okay, step 3 is make sure you understand energy balance, make sure you understand calories, and make sure you understand what a calorie deficit is. I'm not going to spend too much time on this point. If you're not sure what energy balance is, or what the energy balance equation is, I urge you to go and watch one of my last videos where I completely explained it all for you. I'll put a link, or it'll pop up somewhere on the screen now. So have a look at that one. But that's the main thing to ensure that you know. If we understand energy balance and we understand how to create an energy deficit or a calorie deficit, that's going to be the main key driver in initiating fat loss, using stored body fat as energy. Okay, step 4 is to pick a way of eating that closely resembles the way you are currently eating, within reason, of course. So if you are currently putting on weight week in, week out, and it's just steadily creeping up, then you might need a few more wholesale changes. But if not, if you kind of stay around the same body weight, or you fluctuate, you go up slightly, down slightly, then the way you are currently eating doesn't need to change too much. You just need to make small changes to the way you are currently eating. There is no perfect diet out there. I've mentioned this plenty of times on this channel. There's no perfect diet out there. You just want to pick a diet that you can adhere to, something that, as I say, closely resembles how you're currently eating, so the changes that you make aren't too much of a shock, and are easy to carry out. Because if I tell you to suddenly eat 4 meals a day and you're used to eating 2 meals a day, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to follow that routine. If I tell you to eat vegetables with every single meal you eat, yet currently you're probably eating a handful of vegetables over a full week, you're quickly going to relapse and just not follow that program. So look at what you're currently eating and make small changes to this. Obviously, if you work with me, this is something that I can do for you. But a few good little tips that you can do to start straight away is write yourself down a food diary of every single thing you consume over a week. Have a look at that diary, and you might be surprised to see some things that creep up on there each day, which you might be eating just habitually. So you might straight away spot some trends that you can fix straight away, instantly. You could just cut something out, or for example, you might change full fat mayo to a lighter version. It's going to save you plenty of calories. If you drink a lot of fizzy drinks, if you pick a diet option, that's going to save you a ton of calories. So just little changes like that are gonna really make a massive difference. So try that 7-day food diary. If there's nothing that jumps out to you, then, and you want someone to have a closer look at it, then if you drop me an email, that's something that I can support you with. So yeah, point 4, pick a way of eating that closely resembles how you currently eat, and just make smaller changes to that. Okay, step 5, well done, you made it. The final step is increase your daily activity starting from now. What I want you to do is, it doesn't have to be in the gym. Obviously at the minute we can't with lockdown. Just increase how active you are day to day. I talk about this loads as well. Increase your steps, get your steps higher than they currently are. Have a look if you've got a step tracker, a Fitbit, anything like that. Have a look at what you've been doing over the past week or 2 weeks. It'll probably work out a weekly average for you, or a daily average. Just work from day to day or week to week, trying to increase that average. If you can average more steps day to day and your diet is staying relatively the same, or you've made them changes and you're eating slightly less than you were, straight away we've decreased calories and we've increased activity, and you're sort of on the right path then to losing body fat. So there's no excuse. Everyone can increase their activity levels. Take 10 minutes, 20 minutes before work if you've got that time spare. If not after work. Even if you're at work, try and have regular breaks. If you work in an office, walking around the office where possible. Take the stairs rather than the lift. Do a lot more standing rather than sitting. Just try and be more active day to day. It's gonna, as I mentioned in my understanding energy balance video, you will be burning more calories in your day-to-day activity than you will be over your 1 hour gym session that you do. So that's the area where you can really target and work on. And then additional to that, obviously you've got the option to do extra activity. So whether you go out for a run or a cycle, if you do a home workout at the minute, work on getting as active as you possibly can. And there's no better time now, if you're off work because of lockdown, concentrate on your health and fitness. It's going to be so good for your physical health as well as your mental health. So get out, get in the fresh air, try and do more steps, get more walks in, and it's going to help you massively towards your goal of fat loss. So there we have it, 5 simple steps to get you ready for fat loss. Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions about anything that I've discussed in today's video, drop me a comment in the box below, send me an email, I'll drop that in the video description. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I know the first step dragged on a little bit, but hopefully you got something out of each step, and it's going to help you towards losing body fat. So again, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.